Welcome, friend. Take a breath, settle in, and let's reflect together. Leo season has been quite a ride, a stretch of time filled with boldness, creativity, and a push to step into our own light. And now, as the sun prepares to move into Virgo, it's the perfect moment to pause, to look back at what these past weeks have stirred in us, and to gently shift our attention to what's coming next. This isn't about rushing into predictions or grand declarations. It's about noticing. The way the fire of Leo brought out certain sides of us, maybe courage, maybe playfulness, maybe even impatience, and how those experiences prepare us for the grounded, practical energy of Virgo. Think of this video as a bridge. On one side is Leo, the season of shining, of reclaiming confidence, of daring to express. On the other side is Virgo, a season of refinement, structure, and healing. Here, together, we'll walk across that bridge, reflecting on what just passed, learning from it, and preparing ourselves to step into the next chapter with clarity. So, if the last few weeks have felt intense, creative, or even a little chaotic, you're not alone. That's the pulse of Leo. And if you've been wondering how to channel that energy into something more steady and useful, Virgo season is waiting for you with both feet on the ground. Stay with me. We'll take this step by step. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand what Leo season meant, but also how to use its lessons as tools for Virgo season, so you walk into it not guessing, but grounded, ready, and aware. Leo season every year has a certain flavor. It's ruled by the sun, and that alone makes it feel brighter, louder, more alive. In 2025, that energy came through as an invitation to be seen, not just by others, but by ourselves. Leo pushes us to ask, where am I hiding my light? Where am I downplaying who I am? Sometimes the answers are uncomfortable, but they're important. This season has a way of pulling us out of the shadows, encouraging us to show up with more courage, more creativity, and more presence. It's also about play. The lion, after all, isn't just a symbol of power. It's also a reminder of vitality, joy, and the spark of the inner child. Maybe you felt nudged to try something new, or to return to something you loved in the past. Maybe you noticed your energy rising and falling in waves, bursts of confidence one day and a need to retreat the next. That's natural. Leo is fire, and fire is never constant. It flares, it softens, it flickers, and it roars. For some, this season was about leadership, taking charge of projects, speaking up in spaces where you'd usually stay quiet, or realizing that the world needed you to take initiative. For others, it may have felt more personal, like an inner call to stop pretending, to live with more authenticity. But beneath all of it, the theme of Leo season 2025 was this: courage through self-expression. Not perfect courage, not polished or planned, but raw, heart-led bravery. That was the invitation these past weeks carried, whether you noticed it through moments of joy, creative breakthroughs, or even clashes that revealed where you were holding back. To really understand the pulse of this Leo season, it helps to look at the sky and the events that shaped its rhythm. Each one left a mark, like stepping stones across these past weeks. The first big influence was Mercury retrograde in Leo, which stretched from mid-July into early August. Retrogrades often get a bad reputation, but at its heart, this one was less about disruption and more about reflection. It asked us to revisit the way we communicate, to notice where pride or ego might get in the way, and to give ourselves a second chance at saying what truly matters. For some, it showed up as misunderstandings. For others, it was the resurfacing of old conversations, like unfinished business waiting to be addressed. Then came the new moon in Leo around July 24th. New moons are quiet beginnings, seeds we plant in the dark. In Leo, that seed was about daring to imagine a bigger, braver version of yourself. It whispered, "What if you trusted your voice more? What if you allowed yourself to be seen without apology?" For many, it felt like an inner ignition, subtle but powerful. One of the most talked about portals of the year, the Lion's Gate on August 8th, opened right in the heart of Leo season. With Sirius, Earth, and the Sun aligning, it carried a heightened sense of manifestation energy. People often describe it as a doorway, a chance to align with purpose and call in what feels most true. Whether or not you felt it as an event, its symbolism added a layer of intensity to the season, like a cosmic reminder that this is the time to set your intentions high. Not long after, the full moon in Aquarius rose on August 9th. This was an important counterpoint because while Leo is about the self, your voice, your shine, your identity, Aquarius asks us to zoom out and see the collective. The full moon created tension and clarity between those two forces. How do I honor my individuality while also contributing to the larger whole? Many people felt it as a wake-up call, highlighting friendships, communities, or the places where individuality clashes with group dynamics. Taken together, these events gave Leo season 2025 a layered feel. There was reflection through Mercury retrograde, fresh beginnings with the new moon, bold manifestation energy through the Lion's Gate, and then a balancing act under the Aquarius full moon. Each one shaped the emotional tone of the season, making it more than just fire and confidence. It became a season of recalibration, of choosing how to express yourself and where to direct your energy. When we look back at Leo season, it's not just about the planets or the dates. It's about how all of that actually showed up in real life. Astrology always filters down into the personal, the small, ordinary, human ways it touches us. For many, this season carried a mirror. It asked questions like, am I showing up honestly? Am I giving myself permission to be seen for who I really am? Some people noticed moments where they finally spoke up in conversations that mattered. Others recognized where they'd been shrinking back, letting fear of judgment hold them in the shadows. There was also the theme of joy, not just the surface kind, but the deeper kind that comes from reconnecting with your inner spark. Maybe you remembered what it felt like to be playful, to create without pressure, or to bring lightness back into parts of life that had grown heavy. Leo has a way of reminding us that joy isn't optional, it's fuel. Without it, the fire dims. But the season didn't only highlight courage and joy. It also exposed the cracks. When ego got in the way, when stubbornness flared, or when pride made it hard to admit mistakes, that too was Leo showing itself. Not as punishment, but as a nudge to grow. Sometimes the lesson was humility. Sometimes it was learning to balance confidence with compassion. At its core, Leo season 2025 taught us that self-expression isn't just about being loud, dramatic, or visible. It's about alignment, making sure what you project outward matches what you feel inward. When those two things line up, there's a power that doesn't need to shout. It simply radiates. So, if these past weeks left you with a stronger sense of who you are, or even just clearer about what no longer feels authentic, that was Leo doing its work. Those realizations are the threads you'll want to carry forward into Virgo season, where they can be woven into something steady and real. As the sun shifts from Leo into Virgo, you can feel the change. It's like stepping out of the spotlight and into a quiet workshop. Leo's energy is about shining, expressing, creating. Virgo's energy asks, what will you do with that light now? How do you shape it into something useful, meaningful, and lasting? Virgo is an earth sign, and with it comes a grounding influence. After weeks of fire and flare, there's a pull toward practicality. You may find yourself thinking less about grand displays and more about the details, the habits, the systems, the small daily choices that either support you or drain you. This shift isn't meant to dim the fire of Leo, but to give it form, to channel creativity into practice and inspiration into action. There's also a healing tone here. Virgo is tied to health and wellness, not only in the physical sense, but also in how we maintain balance in our lives. Where Leo might encourage you to take bold steps, Virgo encourages you to slow down, to notice what's working and what isn't, and to make adjustments. It's less about drama, more about devotion. Devotion to your well-being, to your craft, to the people and practices that sustain you. Another key shift is perspective. Leo says, "Here I am, see me." Virgo says, "Here's the work, let me refine it." That doesn't mean one is better than the other. They're partners in the larger cycle. Leo inspires you to shine. Virgo ensures that shine is sustainable. Together, they create a rhythm. Ignite, then refine. Express, then organize. So as we cross into Virgo season 2025, imagine this as a recalibration. You've just been through weeks of fire, where courage and expression were the lesson. Now the energy asks you to ground that courage, to integrate what you've learned, and to shape it into routines and actions that support your growth in tangible ways. Every season has its gifts, and Virgo brings plenty: focus, structure, clarity, and care. But with those gifts come certain challenges, things to watch out for so the energy doesn't tip into imbalance. One of the most common themes in Virgo season is perfectionism. The desire to refine, to make things better, is beautiful, but taken too far, it can freeze progress. You might find yourself over-editing, overthinking, or delaying action because it doesn't feel flawless yet. The challenge here is remembering that growth comes from movement, not perfection. Virgo season is about steady improvement, not impossible standards. Another caution is mental overload. Virgo energy is analytical, detail-oriented, and sharp. It can be wonderful for solving problems and building systems, but it can also spiral into worry. You might notice your mind running faster, replaying details, or second-guessing small choices. The key is to notice when analysis turns into anxiety and to gently step back before it drains your energy. There's also a tendency to overserve others during this time. Virgo's archetype is connected to service, to being helpful and supportive. That's a beautiful quality, but it can come at the cost of your own needs if you're not careful. This season may invite you to set boundaries, to help others without losing sight of your own well-being. Finally, with Virgo's emphasis on health and order, there's the potential to be overly critical of yourself or of others. The eye for detail can become nitpicking if it's not tempered with kindness. Remember that refinement is about building up, not tearing down. So, as Virgo season 2025 begins, the precautions are clear. Don't let perfection stop you from moving forward. Keep analysis from sliding into worry. Balance service with self-care, and temper criticism with compassion. Handled with awareness, these challenges can actually become strengths. By keeping them in check, you allow Virgo's best qualities, clarity, healing, and grounded progress to shine. Virgo season is at its best when we translate ideas into daily actions. It's about finding rhythms that keep us steady, grounded, and clear-headed. Here are some practical ways you can lean into its energy without feeling overwhelmed. Start with the small habits. Pick 1 or 2 things you know would support you. Maybe it's journaling in the morning, adding more water to your day, or setting aside 10 quiet minutes before bed. Virgo season isn't about sweeping dramatic changes. It's about consistency. Even the smallest adjustments, repeated over time, can shift your entire foundation. Next, look at your environment. Virgo thrives on order, and this is an excellent time to create clarity in your space. You don't need to do a massive overhaul. Just choose one area, your desk, your kitchen counter, the apps on your phone, and tidy it up. The act of creating order outside of you can ripple inward, clearing mental clutter along with physical. Health and well-being naturally take center stage now. This doesn't mean chasing impossible routines or cutting out joy. It means listening to your body and giving it what it truly needs. More rest, a little more movement, foods that leave you energized instead of drained. Virgo season is practical healing, care that actually fits into your daily life. Rituals can also be powerful tools here. The new moon in Virgo on August 23rd is perfect for setting intentions around routines and self-care. Write down one small commitment to yourself that feels realistic, not overwhelming. Then, in early September, the Pisces eclipse invites a release. Use that moment to let go of a habit or thought pattern that no longer serves you, making room for balance. And don't forget balance in your mental routines. Virgo energy can push you into overanalysis, so try practices that slow the mind. Meditation, a mindful walk, or even just breathing deeply while making tea. Think of it as hygiene for your thoughts, the same way you care for your body. At its heart, Virgo season is about creating systems that support you instead of weigh you down. So ask yourself, what routines actually bring me peace? What structures help me thrive? Choose those and let the rest fall away. As we close this reflection, take a moment to notice how far you've come. Leo season was bright, fiery, and sometimes overwhelming, but it gave you lessons that you now carry with you. Lessons about courage, about joy, about the importance of showing up as your true self. Now, with Virgo season opening its doors, the energy softens. It asks you to take those sparks of inspiration and ground them, to bring order where there's been chaos, to nurture your body and mind, and to treat progress as something gentle and steady, not rushed or forced. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. What matters is that you begin, one small habit, one clear step, one honest commitment at a time. This season is less about chasing after a grand image of who you want to be, and more about building the quiet, daily practices that allow you to become that person naturally. Remember, astrology isn't here to tell you who you are. It's here to remind you of the cycles that support growth. Leo lit the fire. Virgo helps you tend it. Together, they create balance, the passion to dream and the discipline to make those dreams real. So as you move forward, carry this with you. Progress doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing rest when you're tired. Sometimes it looks like clearing a corner of your room. Sometimes it looks like showing up again tomorrow, even if today was messy. All of it counts. You are stepping into a season of refinement, of care, of grounded action. Let it be a time where you honor your body, your routines, and your quiet strength, and trust that even the smallest steps are leading you somewhere meaningful. Take this Virgo season as an invitation, not to be perfect, but to be consistent, kind, and fully present with your own growth. And don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.